Hello, true believers. I apologize. I'm a couple weeks late on getting my race recap for the LSC Louisville Sports Commission half marathon, but there's some stuff, and I'm going to add to this as you see my half marathon poster from this year in the background. Uh, that I wanted to cover this in one video session, so we're going to hit that, and then we're going to hit some more exciting news, and you'll see why my life has sort of been the past couple of weeks, which is a blessing, by the way. It's not a criticism or a complaint in any stretch of the imagination. So let me go back. Talking about Big Hit Half Marathon, I said was waiting on the final medals that we were promised, and it finally got mailed to me. And there it is. Big Hit Half Marathon finisher, October 26th, Louisville, Kentucky. I like that it says finisher like that. Kind of cool, as the young kids would say. So bringing me to Louisville Sports Commission half marathon, which was, and I apologize, let me turn the phone off now. Actually, that was my wife texting me. So, was November 10th. So, to give you a recap, I ran my third full marathon on October 20th, 3 days after I turned 41. And I only became a runner 3.5 years ago. So this was, I try to get a full marathon in each year, and took an hour off my very first marathon and 40 minutes off my previous full marathon, of last year. I was very pleased with that. Well, 6 days later, I ran Big Hit half marathon, which would be my third half marathon, and got a sub 2 hour half marathon. I really don't think either one of those really had time to sink in because I was so focused on the last of the three that I signed up for, and that was the Louisville Sports Commission half marathon. So I had a taste of a sub 2 hour half marathon and really said, you know what, I'm done with the negative thoughts. I'm done with the you can't do it that we perpetrate in our own head. And I said, you know what, I ran a sub 2 hour 6 days after running a full. There's no reason for me to think I can't do it. So there are some differences in, that was my phone again. There are some differences in this half as opposed to Big Hit half marathon, and for, I'll call it the LSC Louisville Sports Commission half marathon, which again, that's that poster for the fall runathon behind me. And I mentioned this before, is that this incorporated a great number of hills. Miles, I want to say two and a half till basically 9 were hills, were uphill. We went around Cave Hill and went through Cherokee Park, which a lot of races go through Cherokee. I absolutely hate Cherokee. Iroquois Park has hills, but I would run Iroquois backwards all day before I run Cherokee because it just feels like you keep going up, 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 and when you finally get to the top, like you should be able to give a high five to God, like you were that high up. It's insane. It's just crazy. Well, this year, and this was huge for a race and for the city in general, they got permission from the city of Louisville that the race went through Cave Hill Cemetery. For those that don't understand how huge that is, Cave Hill is where Colonel Sanders is buried. A lot of Kentucky dignitaries are buried there that are from here, and it's really a national monument more than just a cemetery. I mean, there's all people of all likes of all walks of life are born there, or sorry, buried there, and it's a huge standout in the city of Louisville. And they were opening this up. You're not even allowed as just a regular person. If you try to run through there, seriously, it's like a SWAT team will converge on you, telling you have to go. So this was huge. And like I said before, it really meant something that I'd run past my dad, not just run around like all the other races that run around Cave Hill, that I would be able to do this. So it was a very chilly morning, to the point that I looked at Damari as I woke up and said, babe, you and the girls stay home. It's a cold enough day anyway, but considering the start and finish is the riverfront right off the Ohio River, you're talking about adding some negative numbers as far as wind chill. So I said, you guys just stay home. You guys, they've been to every finish line forever. There was no point in Damari being pregnant and having the girls and them freezing, and I just felt bad, and so I said, "You guys just stay home. It'll be fine." And I was okay with that, and I gave them all hugs and kisses when I left. And again, very oddly, I slept well the night before a race. This is 3 races now, being 3.5 weeks apart. I slept well the night before, and that's, I don't know a race that's ever happened. Period. I don't care what the distance is. So I went there race morning, in front of the park down the street, walked in front of the Yum Center, people starting to pile in, and I had my Superman race shirt, handprints on the back, had each of the girls' names, and then had written 4L, 4-EL as in House of L, Superman, Kal-El, Jor-El, which is what our nickname for the baby till we find out the gender. And then had husband, do 4L, do 4/23, 2014, husband, father, runner on my shirt, and I had some Superman socks that I got from Kohl's that had the cape on them. So I had those, and bunch of comments, people taking pictures. It was kind of cool, and people that the running community saw me, and I got a chance to talk to them and hang out. And I had a game plan. I said, if I can attack these hills, I wanted a sub 2 hour, but more importantly, with all these hills, I wanted to attack them. I didn't want them to happen. I wanted to attack them at a sub 10 mile per hour, 10 minutes per mile pace. I wanted under 10 minutes per mile pace when I hit a hill, because you're on those hills for a while, and I didn't want to just get to a point where I was just shuffling along, because mentally, you get in a race like that, especially a longer distance race, that starts to grind on you, that you just start doubting yourself, and you just forget, I'm gonna walk, I don't care. And planned walk breaks are something completely different. I'm just talking about that walk you get when you just gave up on yourself and then you kick yourself later. I said, I just ran a marathon without walking. I'm not walking this. So I said, all right, we're gonna go. We went off, and there was no pace group this time, no pace leader. So this was strictly put a 9-minute setting on my Nike Plus watch, and we go. And that's what I was working with. So felt good. Was actually clocking about an 8, if I remember correctly, 8:35 to 8:45, but felt good about it. That was the great thing. I just felt great. Get going. We start hitting Cave Hill, start hitting the hills. I said, all right, don't complain. Don't complain about the challenge. And this is just a personal thing of anything, not just running, but don't complain about the challenges that are leading you to the blessings. Just don't. They're going to make you appreciate the blessings. They're going to make you cherish those moments. And those are memories. Those aren't obstacles. They're just future memories. We just don't know it yet because we can't see the other side. So I said, all right, we're just going to go. And I found a pace, and like most people, I stopped looking at my watch, because the more I look at my watch when I run, and I can't speak for anyone else, the more obsessed I become with time, and I'm out of my game. So I just said, I found the pace that I matched where I wanted, and know enough of my body, know how to pump the pistons, or my legs, so to speak, and to get my quads lifted off the ground instead of driving them down. And I know to shorten my strides when I hit hills, and lift with my leg. As one foot comes down, immediately lift with my quad. And that's how I've learned to get faster in general, and especially on hills, without feeling so exhausted when I get to the top. Kept my breathing was in check. Again, I don't run with music, so I'm able to listen more in tune to my body, and realize, okay, if I'm breathing too fast, I need to change something up because something's wrong, and I'll gas out. Felt good. Hit the hills. They were tiring, but I didn't walk them. I kept going. Came out of Cherokee, and we started heading to Cave Hill. And I was a little emotional. I had a good talk with Dad. We just talked about a lot. I mean, I talked to him anyway, but we talked about a lot, and I really was just laughing at him at how much he really would enjoy, his grandchildren, my daughters, and how silly they are, and how personality traits they've gotten from me and from Damari, and from even things I see from him, and just wonderful things. And it was nice. It really was nice. It wasn't sad. I was really worried about being overwhelmed with sad emotion. It was just an enjoyable father-son moment. And I thanked them for listening to me babble as I went running past them and came out. And it was actually a little bit sad to see that we were coming out of Cave Hill, because I wanted some more time there. But I also was excited because I knew if I was coming out of Cave Hill, I had less than half of the race left to go. So I was like, whoa, this is pretty nice. Took it as it came. I think I took maybe one water break, knocked some gels down. I know enough about my glycogen tank to know when to start fueling. I know when I'm at DEFCON 3 that I really need to start fueling. And I know when it's too late. When as a runner or even any sort of athlete, when you start to hear your stomach rumbling and you think you're hungry, it's too late because you're not going to get enough glycogen into your system. Same thing with if you're thirsty, you're not going to be able to get water to your system fast enough. You almost have to stop and let your body absorb that in. So I try to keep that consistently going. Felt great again, just felt good, felt powerful, was like, okay, we're still in this. This is, we're not slowing down. So was coming through, and again, you wear the Superman shirt, you're 6'1", 6'1.5", black male running an endurance race. You're like already a triple minority, or I'm already a triple minority in that aspect. And so, people were recognizing me from previous races. Everyone complimented me on my shirt, and it was very nice because there was times I really almost felt like, man, I'm just tired, and someone would say something or pass one of the DJs, and the DJs say something or pass one of the people that were cheering for us, and they hear "Go Superman," and that was really nice. Again, I think I say that every single time, and it sincerely mean that. So was coming up where I said, I think I'm almost, it was like a 5K left, 10 miles down. I said, all right, I'm feeling kind of good. Now, mile 10 through 11 was mental torture. They brought us up, and it was another out and back. But the out and back was like a mile. It literally, when you went into it, it was mile 10. When you were coming out of it was like mile 11 and a half. So the worst thing is you're going down, and you're seeing all these people come back, and you're like, where is this turnaround? So you mentally started to get frustrated because you're like, where in heaven's name is this turnaround? So you finally hit it, and it was like, and it was almost funny because you knew what everyone else was thinking when you were headed out that was coming towards the turnaround. And everybody else was like, where's this turnaround? I mean, you hear people saying it and people just cussing. And I was like, you weren't laughing at them. You were just laughing because 10 minutes ago, dude, that was me. Keep running. You're going to get there. So you hear people yelling encouragement, which was, I think runners in general, the nicest people in the world ever be around in a race environment because yes, everyone's busy focused on a thing, but people always take time to try and help others and always say thank you to volunteers. And I think it's just a phenomenal thing to see and be a part of, more importantly. So I was coming in and I was like mile 12 and I said, whatever's in the tank, we're just going to empty it. If that's it, if I cross the finish line and I puke, then I cross the finish line and I puke. I don't care. So I just went. I just went with everything I had. Got to, I probably say the last 3/4 of a mile when we could see the finish coming down the straightaway, and I was gone. Normally I don't like races where the finish line is like you turn and it's like a mile up and you see it the whole time because it always felt like a mirage. Like the harder I ran, the further away it was getting, and it felt that way. And this time I said, again, take the negative voices out of my head. We're going to attack it. So I barreled down, and I actually passed about half a dozen people in that last stretch, and I was just determined. I said I finished. I wasn't even sure of the time. I knew it was probably close, just judging from, again, understanding my body and this race mentality coming off this being the third race in 3.5 weeks. Crossed, stopped, waited for the official, and I was walking at my water, and it ended up being 2:03, which perfectly okay with. And I'm trying to unravel it, but here's the medal with the Louisville Louisville Sports Commission half marathon. Sorry about the tanglement here. Try to get a better viewpoint of it as I tangle it the wrong way. There we go. And it was 2:03. I didn't get a sub 2, but I actually think I felt more proud of this because this incorporated, little over 6 miles of hills, the emotional aspect, and the fact it really was the third of 3 races so close together that it was nice. The other aspect, and I left it upstairs, was that my previous, you probably can't see it back there, it's my finisher's medal. My first time I ran this race 2 years ago was the only time I've run it. Other time I run it, I did it in 35, 40, and I ran this in 203, and it added hills. They incorporated more hills, and I ran this in 203. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that as a win, flat out. No excuses. No. Oh, no. I felt very proud of that. I took that as a win. And then it was kind of cool because for the first time, all the races I've ever done, Demar and the girls have been there. I've never needed gear check. So I actually used gear check this time. So I went to go get my stuff and saw that Beer Nose, one of the local pizzerias, awesome pizza. If you ever come visit Louisville, Beer Nose, Bearno''S. Beer Nose had free pizza for their runners. And when I say pizza, there had to have been three. They must have started making pizza literally at 3 a.m. That morning, because there were a full 2-3 truckloads worth of pizza. I mean, there was more than enough. So I had my pizza. I thought I'd sit. I was really kind of hungry. Well, then I saw that Fall City Beer was out there with free beer for runners, and we had a drink coupon on our bib. So I went to go give it to them. They're like, "I don't worry about it." Well, next to them was Evan Williams bourbon, which, again, if it's not from Kentucky, it can't be called bourbon. It's just whiskey. So I had a little of that, and that was nice. And then the sun kind of went away from the riverfront, and it was freezing. But it was nice little festivities. I won some runner socks from one of our runner store swags. Normally some $14 socks, which was nice. So it was a nice little post race celebration for the runners. Ran into some people I had seen at the start, and we were all comparing stories of the hills and this and that. And it was really just Louisville Sports Commission did a wonderful job of not only letting us runners run through Cave Hill, but just in general of making you feel very like they wanted you there as a runner, and they appreciated you being there, instead of just saying, haha, we got your money, here's a little dinky thing, and here's your half a Panera bagel and half a banana and shot a Powerade, go home. I mean, they really made you feel like thank you, which is nice, you know. So I'm headed home, and second to my wife and my daughters at the finish line waiting for me and hearing them cheer for me. Second to that, and I don't know if it's second, it might be 1A, is walking in the house after a race. And that just that pitter patter of them just running to me. And did you try your hardest, Poppy? Did you try your hardest? Because I'm there, you know, I coach them. I coach our two oldest in cross country, and that's, you know, the two words I've used as a coach, even the parents quote me on it, is finish strong. And, you know, my oldest, did you finish strong? I said, yes, I did. Did you pass anybody? I said, I passed about 6 people. I said, I passed at least 6 people. She goes, good job. And that's coming off having that conversation with my dad, and coming into my own children talking about being proud of me. There was a large full circle sense there of just, man, just wow, just gratefulness to God is probably, I don't want to sound cute, was really the true way to explain it. So that being said, the other exciting news is, you know, I was talking to my dad about the baby that's on the way, the 4L. And so we finally had the ultrasound. Baby's first picture. And you see the little profile. We got the same nose. See, hold up. We got the same nose. Got the same lips. So finding out if it's a boy or a girl, in case y'all are wondering. Let's see if this comes out very well. In case you can't tell, little body part there with the arrow, and it says right here, boy. So I would like to introduce you all to Jarrell Thomas Queen. Thomas is my middle name, and it's my dad's first name. I was born in 72, where it was very popular to name your son, first son, especially, in my case, I'm an only child, so only son, especially Junior. And I've heard this story probably 100 times. My dad wanted me to have my own identity, and he didn't want to name me Thomas Queen Jr. He wanted me to have my own identity and feel like I forged my own identity in the world. So he said, I'll give him my first name as his middle name, so he always knows where he came from, but he will have his own identity. So it's never, when we've discussed the children and ultrasounds and waiting to see if it was a boy or a girl, whenever we discuss boy names, Corey Thomas Jr. was never on the table for the exact same reason. And Jor-El is Kal-El's father, Kal-El being Superman. So figure out, if you've not seen Man of Steel, go watch it now. So Damari and I are over the moon, excited. The girls were so happy to find out they were getting a little brother, especially our oldest, because all she wanted was a little brother. I'm gonna try to include that video in this blog too, that link, as well as us video when we told the girls that day. It was funny. I've been through this 3 times with ultrasounds and knowing what the girl parts look like. So we waited for a good 10 minutes because the baby was, Jor-El is very active. And so he moves a lot. And we finally, he finally moved and we saw it. And I saw it before the tech said something. And I tilted my head and I went, and Damari goes, "What?" I go, "That's not an innie." And you figure out, and the tech said, "No, those are boy parts." My wife refused to believe it because all we've ever known is we've gone for an ultrasound and we either didn't know or it's been 2 girls. And so she didn't believe it. We got about 4 pictures of the outie, if you will, showing that it's a boy, and we both were just stunned, in a very good way, mind you, just laughing. And I said, the wonderful technician, and she goes, "So you guys have 3 girls?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm confused." And she's like, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "I've been playing with Barbies for the past decade. I'm not sure how this happens now. What goes on?" And that being said, I want to say something to get this off my chest. This is the 4th child, 5th pregnancy. I discussed that 3 years ago on our wedding anniversary. We lost the baby. It's a horrible way to spend a wedding anniversary in an emergency room. From the very first time, and all our children are planned pregnancies, and so there's always been time to think about and build up, and that was my point, not a judgment on anybody that's in an unplanned pregnancy, is that I've always wanted 2 things. One, I've only ever wanted I wanted to go into the hospital with a healthy pregnant wife, and I wanted to leave the hospital with a healthy wife and a healthy baby. I have never cared about gender. With each of our children, all everyone's ever said to me is, don't you want a boy? Don't you want a boy? Oh, you guys trying for a boy, blah, blah. Stop saying that to me, because you're pissing me off. I love my children. I don't love my children anymore because of their gender. I don't love my children any less because of their gender. I, as a man, will never teach my daughters that they're not as loved because they weren't boys when God blessed us. I will not love Jor-El anymore because he is a boy. They're my blessings. That's what God has given me. I will give my heart and my soul and my blood and my sweat and my tears to doing a good job as a father to them. I don't care if they are man, women, male, female, gay, straight, choose a different religion. I don't care. They're my children. They're my blessing. I love them. I don't love them anymore. I'm not going to love Jor-El anymore because he's a boy and take time and make my daughters feel like, well, I was just waiting until the boy came along. No. So if anyone is watching this and you ask me, oh, are you finally, because we had this happen when Damari and I posted on our Facebook pages that it was a boy, is a lot of people had said, oh, Corey must be so excited that he's finally getting a boy. You'll notice on those comments, I didn't like or reply. I liked a lot of other people's that made comments, but I didn't like those that made it, because that's absolutely the most ignorant thing you can say to an expectant parent, is you must be so happy because it is of this gender. I am happy because because mommy Damari is healthy and baby is growing healthily, and when we leave the hospital, God willing, I will leave with a healthy wife and I will leave with a healthy baby, and in this case it will be a healthy son. Will I have to obviously raise him differently than my daughters? Duh. but I won't love my daughters any less or love him anymore. I will love them because they are my children, because they are the blessing that God has given Damari and I. So I apologize if I sound very passionate, but I need to get that off my chest. I am not happy because we are having a boy. I am joyous because God has blessed us with another child. End of story. Do yourself a favor. If you're thinking it, think it to yourself. If you're thinking about asking me if I'm happier that this is a boy, expect the less gentleman Corey to answer you, and don't be shocked, because this is the warning to the world. I am happy my wife is healthy. I am happy our child is growing inside of her healthy. I am happy for every single daughter that I can honestly say for all of our children, I'm the first set of arms that has held them when they came into this world. And that means the world to me. I pride myself in working hard as an active father to all of my children. I pride myself in working hard as an active husband to my wife. It does not change for the gender of this child. I'm still going to work hard. There's still life lessons that I have to teach. There's still the correct pathway and understanding how blessed we are by God that I feel like that I have to teach that child. And there's still a positive male role model I have to teach that child. So do yourself a favor. Don't ask me if I am happy that finally I'm getting a boy. Because here's the thing. Had we gone to the ultrasound and instead of me welcoming you to seeing Jarrell Thomas, it was going to be Anna Louise, which was the name for a girl we picked out, guess what? I'm still this happy and I'm still feeling blessed, and I still can say my legacy in this world will not be based on what medals I have, whatever I did. It'll be based on the people that I work day and night to raise to be responsible human beings and contributing people in this world. And that's my job, and I take it passionately, lovingly, never begrudgingly. I love it. I love being a dad. I love being a husband to my wife. So just getting that off my chest. Thank you. Hope you guys have a most fantastic, because today is Tuesday, November 26th, a most fantastic Thanksgiving week. Please don't take this month or this week to count your blessings on what you're thankful for, because I promise you I'm just as thankful in June and July, the other part of the year, as I am this week. Just this week I got some turkey to go with those thankfulness. So I'm thankful for you sitting here right now and watching this. I'm thankful for the comments, thankful for some wonderful people in my life. I'm thankful for my family, and I'm thankful that my child is healthy. So I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving break, and I will see you guys soon. Okay? Until the wheels fall off, stay good, y'all.